Hi guys, it is Carla theBubblelush. Now I told you that I was going to do a tutorial, about making cards. So what I wanted to do was first show you some of the cards I made so that you can kind of tell that yes, I do actually make cards. So, let me reach across here. So I wanted to show you some of the cards that I've made, just so you can get an idea of kind of all the different possibilities that you can do. Some of them I have duplicates of. This is really cute with fabric. You probably can't tell, but those are flowers. Nice bright color scheme. More manly color scheme. But today we're going to work on something that's kind of like this. Opening down that way. Okay? So let's get started. Okay, so the size card that we're going to use, first, in case you want to cut down a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock, what you want to do is cut at 3.5 inches. That way you have a 12-inch long by 3.5 inch wide piece of paper that you can use in other projects. And then you're just going to cut an inch off, so to take it down to 8.5 by 11 inches. Okay, now once you've cut this paper down, there's a couple options. So first, you can cut it in half this way, and then fold, and that's going to give you the kind of card we're going to work on today, like this, or like this, where it's open. And I think that's the type of card that you generally see, like that, or like that. And again, that's by cutting the paper in half at 4, or cutting it at 4 1/4, or I guess that's 5 1/2, huh? Cutting it at 5 1/2 and then folding it 4 1/4. Or you can cut the paper down here so you're left with two tall, skinny little rectangles, and that is an example of this type of a card where you open it that way or this way. Not as common, but you still see those from time to time. So we're going to do this one first. All right, so let's take you down to my trimmer. All right, so pardon my mess, but what we're going to do is start with this 12 by 12 sheet of paper. Remember, we're going to cut 3.5 inches in, so we have this nice usable piece of paper, and then just cut an inch off to bring it down to 8.5 by 11. So 8.5. This always goes right over in my scrap pile. By 11. Oop. Alright, so now we have an 8.5 by 11. Now if you forget how to cut it, basically we're going to do like that, like we talked about. Cut, fold. Okay, so we're going to take this whole sheet is 11 inches, I'm going to cut it in half at 5 1/2. Lock it again, and we are done for now with our paper trimmer. So we've got enough to make 2 cards. What I'm going to do is first take my bone folder, match these up, and that's the back of my card. Sometimes when you use your bone folder, you create little like shiny burnish parts on your paper, so I always make that the back. So again, you just fold it in half, match up your ends, and then all done. So you've got the base of your card. Now what we need to do is pick out some coordinating paper. So a long time ago I invested in this box of paper. It has 150 sheets It's from K& Creations, and it's all sorts of pattern paper. And I always use it as the, you know, kind of the coordinating pattern paper on either scrapbooks or in my cards. Today what I'm going to use is this yellow up here. And so we've got the green card, the yellow, and I need one more layer, so I'm going to use this really pretty bright blue. Now the card that we're trying to emulate has a ribbon detail, and I'm going to go with this ribbon. There you go. So let's cut down this yellow and this blue. Okay, with this particular card, again, it is 5.5 inches wide, and each of these layers, so this is the white is going to be our yellow, and this is going to be our blue, comes in 1/8 of an inch from either side. And 3 and so it's going to look like that. That is how you do your layer. Okay, so for this card, the green is going to be cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That's what we made the base of the card. And the layers, the yellow is 4 by 5 1/4, and the blue is 3 3/4 by 5. So that is how you make the 3 layers of the card. Now if we look back at our inspiration card, we'll notice that this blue has some texture to it, and it has the corners rounded. So let's, I'll show you how I put the texture on mine. So way back in the day, before the Cricut, they had this Sizzix machine. And what you would do is you would buy these alphabets, these Sizzix dies. I'll show you one real quick. Just open it up, take out a die. That's not a very good one. Let's get a letter. This one. E. Here we go. Sorry about that. E is easy to see. So it just looks like this from the back. You had your E, and when you turned it over, you had your uppercase, your lowercase, and then your shadow. And so you would have to individually punch out each letter. It was awesome. I don't know. So it was better than cutting out the letters by hand, I suppose, or stenciling. Now this thing is pretty archaic and I don't really use it. What I should be using is like a cuddle bug or something, but I don't want to go out and spend more money. So I use my Sizzix and the Sizzix texture plates, and I just kind of make it work. So first what I'm going to do is this texture plate is really fun. It was in a 2-pack. It's called Tropical Paisley, and this other one is Diamond. So I'm going to take Tropical Paisley. It opens up, and there's like a positive and negative image. This one is raised where this one is indented, so when you fit it together, it fits perfectly. I'm just going to set that in there, close it up, and put it in my machine. Now I have the system converter on, which is what you had to have in order to use these thin little dies. So most people that have the Sizzix machine already have the system converter. Again, if you have like a cuddle bug or something, you can just run it through real quick, and it's a lot easier. But like I said, I already have this one and I can make it work. So you just pass it through, pull it down, keep pushing it in further. Bringing out the back, and then when we open it up, the paper is beautifully textured. See that? Pretty, eh? Okay. Also keep in mind that this Sizzix weighs a ton. You could basically do your weightlifting with this thing. Alright, so we have got our green, our yellow, our blue, and my half pink thumbnail. What I'm going to do is try to find my corner rounder. I hear Chris outside. And I have to decide if I like this texture or this texture more. I think I'm gonna do this texture because it'll be easy to adhere things to. Just gonna round the corners real quick. Hello, Christopher. He's not talking to me. All right, got those all done. So now you can kind of see our card starting to come together. All right, now, if we look back, there's some embellishments here. What I'm gonna do first is pick out a stamp for this. So what I first thought was, I have this stamp set from Stampin' Up. It's called Whimsical Words, and I liked this one, You're Never More Than a Thought Away. So I put it on my clear stamp, and I used my Stampin' Up ink. Let me show you what color it is. Bermuda Bay. And I just stamped it on some white paper that I had laying around, and I punched it out using this Marby circle punch. Ta-da! Very close fit. So I've got that, but you know, I want the little flower accent. So I'm going to use some yellow cardstock. Take you over here. Some yellow cardstock that I have in my scrap pile. This is from another project. It's not the exact same yellow, but it's actually a really close fit, and I think it'll pop nicely. So I'm just going to take my 2-inch scallop punch from, I think this is a Stampin' Up. I'm not positive though. Who knows? It's from something. I always do it upside down, that way you can see what you're cutting, especially if you've stamped something. That way you can center your punch perfectly. That's how I punched this out perfectly. So I'm just going to layer that, set that here. You see though that it has 2 of them. So maybe I'll take a scrap of green from that 3.5-inch long piece that we cut, and I'll cut another circle. And then I'll take my yellow and I will cut a small circle. Put both of those back in the scrap pile. And layer them like that. It's okay, but I don't like that this doesn't pop. So maybe I will color the edges. I need to get a little stamp pad. Winter green. This one I think still has the color on it. Oh wait, what am I talking about? Duh, I'll just use this. So I'm going to take this yellow circle and just kind of edge it with the ink. There we go. And it's a very minor touch, but I think it will help pop just a little bit. There we go. And don't forget our ribbon detail. This is going to go back behind. So let's start affixing some of these layers. Alright, so we're going to use 3 different types of adhesive. We're going to use some glue dots most likely, but I'm definitely going to use my tape runner and a pop dot. I've already got the little pop dot popped out. So first we are going to start with our yellow. We're just going to, and the thing is, you know, on scrapbooks I tend to not use that much tape because, you know, they're going to be under protective cover. They're not going to get manhandled that much, but cards actually do get quite a bit of handling. So I tend to use more adhesive on a card than I do on a scrapbook page. I'm just going to center it by eye, smooth that out. Perfect. Now, this goes next, this side up But first, we are going to do our ribbon detail. Super sharp pair of scissors, please. And again, this is just an eyeball. Alright, so now you can actually take your tape runner and it fits pretty perfect on your basic ribbon. There we go. Let's see. So this one's gonna be a little higher because I like the look of that card. We're just gonna wrap it around the back. Now you can heat seal your ends if you really want to, but I don't think you need to. Perfect. Now I'm going to use glue dots on here because there's texture. So I just start unrolling and see where my glue dots are. That's my first one. When you texturize paper like this, you're breaking down the fibers a bit, so the paper does become a little more fragile. Very, very flexible like this, especially with a pattern with this much detail to it. So now just center this one again, side to side, top to bottom. Smooth it out, especially pushing down where you put those glue dots. Awesome. We are almost done. So I'm going to, let's just use glue dots. That'll be the easiest. Used all of those. There's one. Perfect. Right in the center of the flower. So that one's going to go there. And then my little yellow. Oh, that didn't do. There we go. This one goes on first. And this one is going to go on with a pop dot. Ugh. Oh, it's like Where's Waldo over here. Found it. Pop dot. Note to self. Take off nail polish that's all chipped and gross before doing a zoomed in tutorial of just your hands. Jeez, Carla. Professional. Get professional here. There we go. So that is my version of this. Now if you wanted to jazz it up even more, you could do the multiple layers on this one. Especially if you wanted to bring in a blue layer and then another white layer with a little stamp. You see what this card is. Dark, then a white circle, a dark circle, a white circle that's on a pop dot, and then a stamp, and then a little jewel. So this one is all bedazzled. This one is my quick and dirty version. So all I have left to do is write my sentiment on the inside and on the back, do a little hand stamped by Carla, send it out the door. Hope that helps, and I hope it encourages you guys to consider making your own cards. It's really not that hard, and it's a good way of kind of easing yourself into scrapbooking. Again, there's some of my layouts. If you have any that you want kind of a step-by-step, just let me know in the comment section below, and I will try to help you out. All right, bye guys.